Hi guys, welcome to a new series on my channel. This series we will be rebuilding the town of Newcrest in The Sims 4. So I'm sure you all know what the town of Newcrest is if you play the game. It's basically one of the towns that you get with the base game that comes with a bunch of empty lots that you can fill up yourself. So in this video we are going to be focusing on the 40 by 50 lot, which is on like almost like a waterfront lakeside location. This is the biggest lot in the world, and this lot will be an apartment block. As you saw by the introduction of the video, it's obviously an Art Deco style apartment. There is 6 individual apartments within this building. That is the maximum that you can do in the game without using mods. Now, to use apartments in this game, you have to have the expansion pack for rent. So this lot will be available in the gallery, but you won't be able to download it unless you have that expansion pack. That said, for the first time, I'll actually be uploading a downloadable save file. And the reason for that is because you cannot upload the entire world to the gallery, you can only do individual lots. But my purpose for this series is to rebuild every single lot, but not just to rebuild the lots, but to also have unique households in each individual location, apartments, etc. And for you guys to be able to get the benefit of that, then I need to upload this as a save file for you to be able to download. So yes, you will be able to download the save file once the world is complete. Now, before you're wondering this is the first build, the world probably won't be complete for a while. But that is not the case. As you'll see in this video, you will see different buildings in the background on different lots go up, get built throughout the video, including the lot on the left hand side that we're currently looking at, which is also another apartment building. That one is not yet furnished, but the shell is built and that one is ready to be furnished. That means there's also, in this location, there's going to be a bunch of community lots as well. And throughout the world there's going to be a mix of houses, apartments, community lots, pretty much everything that you need for a functioning world. And the households that are in the world, they're going to be very unique. And each build is going to be tailor-made per specific household. This also means that some of the households, whilst there might be multiple households, they're all one big family. So you'll have the grandparents of a family living in an apartment, or living in a semi-detached house, single detached house, whatever. And then they've got their kind of kids and their grandkids living in another house. But it's quite cool, so it creates like another level of realism in the world that I've created. But for this video, we are literally just focusing on this apartment block with its 6 individual apartments. This apartment block also has a laundrette, sorry. In the US, I think you call it a laundromat. And there's also like a mock estate agent, and there's also a spa as well. Now the spa and laundromat, they are technically functional in the sense that if you live in the apartments, you will be able to use them. The estate agents kind of just doubles up as a desk with a chair. So whilst you can go in and use that, you can't obviously buy properties there, etc. The lifts that you can see me building on the screen right now, they are non-functioning lifts. I don't use mods in my builds because I want everyone to enjoy them, regardless if you like to install mods or not. But you can replace these lifts that don't work with functioning lifts if you do have a mod for the game, which I do not. But to be honest, like, my idea of this apartment block is more or less just to populate the world. I don't think if I was playing the game, I would definitely live on one of the 2nd or 3rd floor maybe of this apartment building, but to be on the very top floor, it would be quite long because you have to go up the stairs every time you return your sim to the home location. That said, the top floor apartment is very cool, and you will see that as we progress through the video. And the top floor apartment is home to a pretty cool bunch of individuals. Yeah. And whilst I'm talking about the different households in the world, not only are they unique in terms of their style, their preferences, and their objectives / ambitions, but they also have different skills already acquired, and some of them are at different levels of the careers already. For example, there's an apartment in this building that is 2 grandparents, but one of the husband of that couple is actually level 7 in the law career, and they have the logic skill and the research and debate skill and a few other skills that go with that career already leveled up. So if you wanted to play as that household, they have a nice income, but likewise if you were to play the game and you wanted to move in with that household, or you wanted to do some of the challenges where you marry that person and then they take their money and divorce, there's those options as well. So there's plenty of new avenues that you can play your game with this if you were to download the save file. Right now though, we are building the spa. As I said, you can come down and use the spa equipment. There's also a gym in the spa, and there's also showers, etc. Which you can use, but no, like, Sims from the outside won't come in and use them. It's just the people living in the apartment block that really have access to them. But it is pretty cool when you're playing in one apartment, you will see Sims come down and use this equipment from another apartment block. The spa as well, at the moment, sorry, you probably saw the spa when I originally started building it, was quite small. I actually changed the layout a little bit. I'm now in the second part of building the spa where the layout has completely changed and there's a much bigger dedicated space to the spa area. Because one thing I wanted to do with this apartment block, which I can't do unfortunately, is I wanted each apartment to have its own apartment space like you'd get in a normal apartment, and then the ground floor was going to be dedicated storage units. But the problem when you do that is it auto sets the front door to those unique apartment spaces downstairs, and it just creates a lot of bugs. And then when Sims come to visit, they go and visit the storage center downstairs rather than actually go to the apartment. So I decided to keep some empty storage units there with like bikes and jet skis and stuff in that Sims can use, but they're more or less just decorative. But yeah, so we're looking at apartment 1 now. This is the Bell household, so this is the couple that I was talking about. This is Gordon Bell. He is a lawyer, sorry, level 6 of the lawyer career. And then his wife is Marge Bell, who is currently unemployed, but she actually is quite a big presence in the community, and she wants to get involved with the community, outside community, and make a lot of friends. Obviously, being a couple, they don't really need a massive apartment building. Their kids are grown up and have moved out, so it's just 1 bedroom with a living, kitchen, dining area, but it is a really nice apartment. The styling is a little bit outdated, but that's deliberate, because I don't want every apartment to look the same, so you have to therefore vary the styling, otherwise the build would be very boring. But yeah, just it was a lot of fun decorating these apartments actually. So what you can see on the screen at the moment is just on parts of the bedroom. Now we're doing the open living, kitchen, dining room, which is actually a very generous size space for what is a relatively minimal size apartment. I'm just adding some like little personal touches, such as that basket full of blankets, and then just adding the lighting. Obviously they need to see where they're going. But yeah, this apartment, it's got a nice view to the pool as well, pretty close to the swimming pool. And yeah, it was just good fun to build really. And yeah, there's not much more that I can really add to this one. There is actually radiators in this apartment. I don't put radiators in every apartment in this block. It's kind of like based on the idea that it's an old building, but it's been modernized over time. So some of the apartments, the owners have kept radiators, others, you can imagine they've got like underfloor heating, all that kind of more futuristic stuff that you get in houses these days. So the kitchen in this apartment ends up being quite big as well, which is a nice thing, because having small kitchens in the game can be a pain. And it's not because obviously in real life it's quite interesting. In real life you want a big kitchen because you want not just counter space, but you want cupboard space and all that good stuff. But in this situation, the Sims don't use the cupboards for anything. So all you really need is a lot of counter space, and that's so you can put appliances, but also places for your Sims to actually prepare the food. So you have quite a decent amount of space in this kitchen. Now, to be a bit realistic as well, I haven't given all the apartments like the most high-end furnishings and fixtures, etc. But the way that I've kind of built this Newcrest town is that this particular neighborhood that we're in isn't low-end. It's not medium, it's just in that bit between like a medium sort of wealth neighborhood and a high wealth neighborhood. So you have got some high wealth individuals living in this block, but there's also a good mix of like families and kind of people just starting out as well, which is nice because it kind of creates that nice diverse culture in the area. And the same with the block next to it, it'll be quite a similar kind of demographic of people. But then the other neighbourhoods, you've got in Newcastle, you have like a row of 5 houses. They're all going to be big, like big mansions. And then the kind of smaller neighbourhood in this town is going to be a couple of small apartments, but also a row of townhouses and also quite a lot of community lots. But there's also quite a lot of community lots in this kind of neighbourhood that we're building in right now as well. But as you see this video progress, which is a good reason to subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be, I haven't decided how many videos are going to be in this series yet, but it's looking like it's going to be about 15 videos, which will be one for each lot. So the second apartment is actually just, I left this one vacant and empty because this is the only build in this world which isn't furnished, and that's deliberately because when you play The Sims 4 you'll notice that a lot of worlds come with empty lots. In this one I didn't really want to have empty lots because the whole purpose of downloading this world is kind of, I've had in mind someone who probably wants to have a pre-built area that they can go and play in. But the reason I left this apartment vacant is because if you A, want to do the start at home challenge, you could actually just move in here, pick your own furniture, but B, there are quite a lot of vacant apartments around in the world, especially in big apartment blocks, so having it vacant is not a bad thing at all. It creates kind of like a realism, but also it's just a blank canvas so you can move in and create what you need in this space really. Now there is one thing I'll touch on while building this, which is the curved walls that I use. Actually, I'll touch on that in a sec. So now we're going on to the apartment 3, which is the Harris household. This is a single lady who is an aspiring actress, hence she is level 8 of the actress career, but she has got a lot of cats. So another thing that this world has is I've incorporated pets into the world, because the only other world really that you get pets in is Brindleton Bay, which came with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack. The rest of the worlds, obviously they can't incorporate pets because in order for them to do that, you'd have to already have the expansion pack Cats and Dogs installed, which obviously the developers of the game, like, they don't know who does and doesn't have that expansion pack, so it's best just to leave that gameplay out of all the expansion packs, which is a shame, but it's kind of impossible to do it any other way. But because I'm creating this world, I can give you guys pets, I can give you guys all sorts of different unique lifestyle quirks that can come into the world. So this apartment is a primarily like pink themed apartment, a mixture of like modern classic, but I actually really like how this apartment turned out. It's probably one of my favourite furnished apartments. It's not my style, but the end result, I really like how well it fits the person that this apartment is designed for. And I think it'd be a really good one for gameplay, especially as a sim visiting the apartment. That's like what I liked about, I used to play a lot of Sims 3, what I liked about that game is, even if I didn't know the household, as soon as you visit a house, you could tell by the house what the household was going to be like. And that's the kind of vibe that I want with this world, is the household and the house, or the apartment that they live in, have the same characteristics, and I think that's working quite well so far. Obviously let me know in the comments what your favourite apartment is, what your favourite household is so far, and also if there's anything that you think I should add to this world or do differently, because the world, whilst it's definitely quite probably about 60% completed now, there's definitely a lot of things that I can add still, and I would like to add as well. But yeah, as I was about to mention, curve walls. Curve walls in this game are an interesting one. They're very difficult to work around. So if you build big curve walls, it's almost a nightmare. But these little curve walls on the corner, the negatives of having a curve wall were outweighed by the aesthetic look. Because if this apartment block didn't have curve walls, then it just wouldn't look Art Deco at all. But those curve walls in the corner, unfortunately, I would love to have put kitchen cabinets along there, but there's no curved cabinets. So I just stuck a pink tree in the corner. But actually I think it accents it quite well. I think it looks quite nice in the end. In some of the other apartment blocks, which you'll see, that kind of curved area ends up just being a walk-in shower, which I think is also another really good use for that space. So yeah, this apartment also has 2 bedrooms. So you've got the main bedroom, which we're building right now, but also a guest bedroom, but that guest bedroom can be for whatever you want. So if you are a single sim and you're using that starter apartment downstairs, maybe you build a relationship with this person and then you move in, or you move in and create a family, but basically it's just a spare room. And I figured it's like, yeah, it just made sense to have, I don't want all the apartments to just be 1-bedroom apartments. I wanted 1-bedroom apartments, 2-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom apartments, a penthouse with some really cool features. So yeah, this was a lot of fun building this apartment. And the bedrooms end up being quite big because I wanted the apartment block, from the outside at least, to actually look quite big as well. I didn't want it to be like a pokey looking building. I wanted it to have a big presence because it is right on the waterfront. It's on a main street, so like it should look quite big. From the front it almost looks like an old hotel. With the signage as well, that signage on the front, that signage is like linked directly to the spa, because in my mind, if this was a real apartment building, that would be a public spa, that would be an actual laundrette and an actual estate agent that anyone in the public could go and use. But obviously, because this is The Sims, only the people living in the apartment can use those facilities, I'll call it. But yeah, so just building this final bedroom in this apartment, 2 big bathrooms as well, and yeah, I went for like a green colour scheme in this one. And yeah, it took me a while actually to get the kind of colour scheme right for this. I wanted to use pink as like the accent colour, but I didn't want it to be completely pink. I wanted it to be quite realistic, because yeah, everything being pink would be a bit much, I think. But yeah, now we're on to apartment 4. These are the roommates. So these guys are not really related to each other. Well, sorry, they kind of are. Like Brittany and Karina, they are in a relationship. And then Orlando and Tribeca are also in their own relationship. So they each have their shared, they each have a bedroom, each couple has a bedroom. But they are roommates, essentially. So they're not blood related, so nothing weird is going on. But yeah, they've got a really nice apartment as well. Actually, this is kind of like a modern apartment, big open plan kitchen, living area. And the nice thing about the apartment, the location of this apartment, is it not only overlooks the pool on the right hand side, but it actually overlooks that lake on the back. So this would probably be the apartment that I would pick to live in if I was in this apartment block. And the other nice thing about this apartment is it's on the same level as the swimming pool outside. And it's only 1 flight of stairs up from ground level, so it's the easiest to access, easiest to get to the pool, and it's also got the nicest views. So yeah, if I was going to pick an apartment, this would be the one. But then the funny thing is, in real life, I'd probably want to be on the top floor, because that would feel the safest, but it would also be the best views, and I wouldn't have to worry about my sim taking too long to go up the stairs, because it would me, and I'll just get in the lift. And yeah, so I'd probably pick the top floor in real life, but in the Sims I'd definitely pick the apartment on this level. And what was really cool about this apartment is the layout just worked really well. You've got a specific area for the TV, nice dining space and a kitchen, and whilst it's open plan, they really feel like their own unique kind of, not unique areas, but they feel like their own designated spaces. Like it was well thought out, essentially, which when you build a house in The Sims, you'll know doing the layout can be either really good, or it can just make the house fall apart. And the amount of houses that I haven't finished because the layout just can't get it how I want it, it's actually probably quite surprising. I couldn't list it because I've been playing this game since The Sims 1, but there are a lot of houses that had some decent shells, but the problem with me is a good shell is nothing without a great interior. So that's kind of my advice. If you're building a house, build it while you think about the interior while you're building it. That's my advice. Yeah, but yeah, just a pretty nice layout so far. The cool thing about this apartment as well is, like, compared to the previous one, is it's actually got like a hallway space. And again, like, whilst the footprints of the apartments are pretty similar, the actual feel of the apartments are all very, very different. because some have got like hallways, some don't. Some the front of the apartment just leads straight out into the living room. Others have like a little hallway entrance that kind of gives it a more upper class kind of feel. But yeah, the Sims living in this apartment, they're all working. 2 of the Sims actually are wellness experts, or they work in the wellness profession, so the fact that they've got a spa downstairs is really handy. And it's quite fun because when I was doing some like play testing, I was inviting Sims round to kind of test how they interact with the front door, which sounds weird, but there's all sorts of glitches, but I'm pleased to say that they're all fixed. But yes, to see how they interact with the lot itself, see what kind of things they do. And some of the Sims will voluntarily, just without even instruction, just go downstairs and start giving people like massages, or using like the mats for meditation and stuff, which I found really fun actually. And yeah, I was really pleased to see it, because often when you play test a house, you end up having to rework the lot slightly to do things that you don't want to do, but you have to because otherwise it doesn't work. But playtesting this lot, it actually was pretty seamless. But yeah, here we're just building the downstairs bathrooms. And yeah, you can see like this is kind of like the perfect place to put the toilet, because you cannot really do much with that curved wall area. But you can see on the front of the lot, there's that kind of like small circle window. And the great thing about that is it just fits so well with the bathroom, so it kind of, the two married up pretty well together, to be fair. Next you can see we're just doing the bedrooms. The bedrooms are pretty similar in this one, like they're both pretty modern themed. And the thing with this house, the bedrooms in this flat, because there's like a bunch of roommates living here, I didn't want it to be I didn't want the bedrooms to be too specific to different individuals, because you have so many different characters living in this one apartment, but they're sharing bedrooms. You'd kind of have to make the rooms a little bit more muted in terms of their features. Obviously this one is like a green theme. And interestingly, like the bold colour themes that you see going on, this is by design. Again, going back to The Sims 3, one thing which you either love or hate about that game is the way that the houses were furnished. Now, I'm not saying that the houses look nice in that game, but they had very distinguished features in terms of their furniture and their interior design. And the kind of purpose of a lot of the design in this build is not to make the flats necessarily look nice, but to make them very iconic. So you know exactly whose flat belongs to which person. And The Sims 3 done that really well, and the kind of builds in The Sims 4, like, they just don't do it so well. Like the Goth house, for example, is probably the best example of a build that matches the people living there really well. But then on the flip side, you have the land grab mansion, which is awful and has nothing to do with the land grab Sims that actually live in that building. So yeah, that's just kind of my take on certain things. This flat also has actually got bathrooms, but it's also got walk-in wardrobes, which is pretty handy. Now we're moving on to apartment number 5. This is the Wilson household. So these guys are one big family. They have a dog. Travis Wilson is the main person in this family. He is a gardener, level 10 of the career. He's a level 10 gardener, and because of that, you will see that the balcony on the left hand side, so on the right hand side of the building you've got the pool, on the left hand side you have got a garden which has plants that you can grow, all this fun stuff. So yeah, Travis will make good use of that garden area. But the cool thing about this is when you're playing in the other apartments, you will see Travis come outside and actually start tending to that garden, which I like. This family also have a dog. Again, you've got cats in one apartment, dogs in another. The other thing, this family doesn't get on too well with Penelope Harris, who is the actress that was in the pink apartment. They don't hate each other, but Penelope hates children. The Travis family obviously have a lot of kids. The other thing about the Travis family, which you won't see in this video, but who exist, is the grandparents of Travis himself. His grandparents live in another building in this world, and you will see that build probably coming up quite soon because that house is finished, the family's finished, it's been play tested. So yeah, that'll probably be one of the next videos. We'll be seeing their house, which is it's actually a really nice house. It's nothing special, it's like a generic house, but it's actually was really fun to build. Sorry if you can hear any noise downstairs. I'm not sure how well my microphone picks up external noise, but there's a few people in the house today that may be making a bit of noise, so just bear that in mind. So yeah, this house, apartment, it's definitely themed as a yellow apartment. And for me, like, yellow is the colour of family. I'm not really sure why, but it just is. The only thing I don't like about this apartment is that you open the door and straight away, you walk straight into a dining table. But basically this apartment had to have 3 bedrooms because you've got kids living here, you've got parents living here, and I wanted a lot of bedrooms in this apartment. So unfortunately you do walk straight into the dining table. But that trade-off is worth it in order to get all these bedrooms. And you can always make the dining table smaller, whatever you need to do. I also went for the furnishing layout in this house is like the most comfy looking sofa. Not necessarily the prettiest sofa, not necessarily the prettiest table and chairs, but they're the most kind of functional. So comfy sofa, big wooden table, nice big carpets, decent TV, lovely kitchen with loads of space, and then the bathrooms, like they're big bathrooms, but they're functional again with shower spaces, whatever you need. I feel like this apartment has got 3 bathrooms in it. You've got an ensuite for the parents, and then you've also got an ensuite on one of the other rooms, and then you've got a family bathroom in the middle. But yeah, it's this is like the perfect apartment for this family. In reality, like, bringing up a family in an apartment must be quite difficult, especially because you've got noise to worry about. There's not much outside space. Like this, fair enough, they've got a swimming pool, which is easy to get to, but I don't know, like, there's just something about having a house versus an apartment which is different. But I'm like, that's me talking. I was brought up in a house, but someone who was brought up in an apartment might have a different opinion and think that being brought up in a house is a bit weird when all you know is apartment life. So there's no right answer there, and it's just interesting to see how different upbringings can relate to different features. But yeah, this bedroom here, you can see there's a cot and a small bed, because there's different age groups in these apartments as well. It's not just young adults or just elderly people. There's a whole range of ages, just again to create a more kind of immersive world for you to play in. Hence why there's so many there's a lot going on in this kids room actually. You've got rugs, you've got loads of pictures on the wall, and yeah, you've got like a yellow theme room and a green theme room. Not really gender specific, anyone can have either room, but yeah, there is a boy, there is a girl in this family, and as before they have a dog as well. As you can see as well in this bathroom, this is the first time you see me use that curved part of the shower, sorry, the curved part of the room to put a walk-in shower, and I think it just works so well, because I can imagine having that curved corner in real life being an absolute nightmare to clean. So the fact it's a shower, you could just spray the shower head into that corner and there you go, clean as a whistle. That's such a weird thing to mention while building, but you know, when you build houses, that's the kind of thing that you think about. But apparently, I'm not really sure. But yeah, the parents have like a nice red themed room. I don't know what it is, but when you make a bedroom red, it's just very easy to furnish. Like, this is something I used to do a lot in The Sims 3, is the feature wall behind the bed would be brick. Then you have those orange lampshades that are kind of cube shaped, red walls, and then the bed has a headboard, but it has no, is it a footboard? That bit at the front, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, apartment 6, this is the Tango Brothers. So this apartment is the celebrities. So Tom Tango is a musician, level 10, 4-star celebrity, and then Brett Tango is a musician, level 10, 4-star celebrity. So these guys, essentially, one of them can play the piano, one of them can play the guitar, some of them can sing, but they're big worldwide celebrities, and not only are they level 10 in their career, but they're like even further than that, because once you get to level 10 in a career in The Sims, if you fill up the bar, the career bar again, so normally you go from level 1, fill up the career bar, then you're level 2. But if you're level 10, you can't then go to level 11 because it doesn't exist. But if you fill the career bar, you get a pay rise. So I believe these Sims are earning about 500, 600 simoleons per hour. So they take home a pretty tasty pay rate. Yeah, they take home quite a bit of money. And this apartment is also massive. It takes up the whole top floor. And the reason for that is because downstairs on the first level, you've got the two small apartments, the one that's not furnished, the one that is furnished. But then that means for the layout to be kind of consistent, I couldn't put 7 apartments basically on this level. Sorry, I couldn't put 2 apartments on this level because you can only have 7 apartments max. So that's why this whole apartment occupies the top floor. But also, this apartment is designed as a place, again, that your Sims probably go and visit or kind of admire, but you probably wouldn't want to play in this apartment because it is so big. And it's all very open plan. But it is actually quite fun to play in because you've got a big kitchen, dining area. The other thing that this apartment has actually also got is a movie theatre. And the reason it has a movie theatre is because if you look at the apartment from the front, you've got that big blue wall above the entrance, which goes from the second floor right to the top floor. And there's, apart from 2 tiny porthole windows where the toilets are in some of the apartments, there's actually no other windows on that bit of the build. So it was a lot easier to just make it a movie theatre, because then that's perfect, because that room, you don't want windows in that room anyway. Yeah, all the apartments, I like to put curtains in these buildings just because it just frames the windows quite nicely. I think it just finishes it up a little bit better. And because there's a movie theatre in here, I put every single movie poster that you can get in the game, I believe. The only ones I didn't put is there's some movie posters that come in a bigger frame. I didn't put those ones in, but I put any movie poster that comes in that size frame is in this apartment. And then I also put like a games room as well, because I thought if you're a celebrity and this is your crib, this is your penthouse, this is your bachelor pad, whatever, if you got a movie theatre, then why wouldn't you have a games room as well? Like, this is supposed to be like the fun pad, and if you host parties, this is a pretty cool place to host quite a lot of parties in as well. Again, because it's the whole floor, you've got great views as well. I had to put the bar in the movie theatre. I thought it was kind of realistic though, because you go get a drink while you're watching a film. But yeah, that's the movie theatre really. This apartment actually also behind the games room, there's that room in the corner that becomes a social media office space, because these Sims are 4-star celebrities, so they want to build up a social media profile. There's a bookcase gone in one of them rooms, but I believe these become bathrooms. Not bathrooms, sorry, these toilets. I also put the bubble blowing machine out the front on one of the balconies as well. I don't often put that kind of object in a lot of builds, but I put it in there. I thought, you know what, it makes sense with this apartment because it's got everything else. So why not, would it not have a bubble machine? And yeah, that's kind of the apartment. It's all the apartments furnished. If you look at the apartment from the outside, you'll see it's got that central core. That's like the central hallway space. The reason it's done like that is because basically I didn't want to have a roof on that space, because if you make that central hallway its own unique room, then, and you have balconies, then the Sims will think that the balcony entrances are the front doors to the lot and not the actual middle part of the room. So it basically avoids having glitches, because if you look at all the pre-built apartments, you'll notice that they all have entrances on the outside of the house. There's no internal hallways, and that's not because they didn't, well, I don't know, I didn't make the game right, but I'm guessing the reason for that is because they knew it would glitch out if the internal entrances were on the inside. So that's why I think all of the apartment entrances are on the outside of buildings in this game. And that is the case for all the apartment buildings in this world, because nobody likes it when the game bugs out. There's enough bugs in it already. If you're downloading my save file, if there's one thing I hope you don't get too much of, is bugs. But I'm only one person, so whilst I playtest a lot, there's bound to be 1 or 2 things that go wrong. And I apologise in advance, but I appreciate if you do download the file, which will be available once I release the last episode of the series. But the lots themselves will be up for download on the gallery. One thing I must mention though is I do post the download link in the video description, but a lot of the times they break after a while. I'm not really sure why, but basically I do plan on going back through my old videos and updating the links. But rather than posting an exact link for the lot, I'm just going to post a link to my gallery page, and that should work more consistently more of the time, hopefully. But yeah, so just building the last bedroom here really. Big bathroom again, Yeah, there's not really much more to say about the build really. I guess just thank you very much for watching. If you stuck around till this point in the video, that is 30 minutes of me talking, then thank you very much indeed. Let me know in the comments if you did, and let me know in the comments, yeah, what your favourite build is, what your favourite apartment is, sorry, and if you're excited for the launch of the save file. But yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.